This townhome is getting ready for sale. And so far, it's a familiar scene. Stagers prep the place. Home inspectors look for trouble. The photographer waits for just the right light. But there's one major difference about the sale of this home.
This property is going to be going up for an open auction, which is, for all intents and purposes, the same as what people are used to, with the one big difference being that all the bids are transparent. So this has been a transformation already.
Real estate agent Daniel Steinfeld is an industry veteran, but a few years ago he started questioning the status quo.
The rule in organized real estate in Ontario is that the real estate profession can't let anybody else know what other people are bidding. Good morning.
So he decided to get around the system by becoming an auctioneer.
I am co-founder and broker from On the Block Realty and On the Block Auctions. This is where the auction itself will take place. You're able to see what the current price is, and when any other bids or offers come in, you know how high you need to go.
Steinfeld's not the only one who's been thinking about this issue.
It's not fair that issues like blind bidding are so heartbreaking for so many families.
This past election, the Liberals made a ban on blind bidding part of their housing platform, promising more affordability and more transparency. But what would an end to blind bidding look like? We're going to dig a little deeper, starting with the issue of affordability. How difficult is it to really get into what matters and how this all works when it's such an emotional thing?
It is an emotional thing. Buying and
Murtaza Haider's a researcher of data science and real estate. He says our housing market is in crisis.
on a per capita basis, we are building half as many homes now as we were building in the early 70s.
But a ban on blind bidding could help. When a house sells via blind bidding, a hopeful buyer could unknowingly bid tens of thousands more than the second highest bidder and push up the price for the entire surrounding neighborhood. And by removing it, you could just take that extra little heat out of every little market across the country.
Absolutely. So you will remove higher volatility. You will add more stability in the market.
My daughter put this video together.
Jeannie Park's on board with the idea of more transparency.
So this is a video of the exterior of the cottage.
You guys out on the lake?
Those are my kids, those are my girls.
This spring, Jeannie and her family went hunting for a cottage, just like throngs of others looking to escape the city.
There were a lot of properties we were interested in. Unfortunately, we got outbid.
They'd already lost 4 blind bidding wars, so weren't surprised when their agent told them they'll be competing on this cottage too. So how much over listing were you advised to bid that night?
A couple $100,000 over list, and we just went a little bit over, just because we wanted to get that property.
Turned out there were no other bids.
We felt duped and manipulated. The fact that there were 0 registered offers, that we were misled with false information in order for us to put in our top price.
You paid $230,000 more than you felt you should have, I think is just
mind-boggling. I know. We're having to pay for this while she gets a big fat paycheck.
Jeannie filed a complaint with Ontario's real estate regulator.
I do have footage where she does admit to another registered offer.
She even submitted a recording she believes proves her case.
2 offers.
2 offers, she says.
I believe the offer was 333.
You believe the offer was 333?
I don't have the information in front of me. I'll have to ask.
We reached out to the realtor as well, but she won't comment while the investigation is open. So even if this investigation finds in your favor, what happens?
Well, they're not going to reduce the price that we paid for, and they're certainly not going to pay for my mortgage. And I think there's little that's going to be done against this agent.
Do you think blind bidding should be banned outright?
Absolutely, 100%.
And she's not alone. A poll by CBC found the majority of Canadians want a ban on blind bidding. Less than a quarter support the status quo. David, thank you for doing this. The real estate industry is pushing back.
The seller, who is the homeowner, should have that right to decide how they want to sell.
David Oikel leads the Ontario Real Estate Association. To what extent is it, in fact, rigged in the favor of the sellers against the buyer?
We're in certainly in a seller's market, but it needs to be something that is important, in all markets, in all circumstances.
Besides, he says this proposal would barely address affordability.
Australia and New Zealand have auctions. Prices have gone up there because, auction fever. I don't think this addresses a problem and creates additional ones.
We've got a beautiful day for an auction here. Let's get the show on the road.
In Australia, bidding wars are fully transparent, right out on the street transparent, where houses are sold in open auctions.
You better be the one holding that very last bid.
But just like here in Canada, Australian home prices are way up this year.
920. What?
I think that's going off of a very narrow-sighted view of what auctions are and how they operate.
At 920, 40 I have now. 60, can I make it, sir?
That high emotion, looking at people bidding against you and maybe doing things that are outside of your means is not the model that we have. It's an online model. It allows people to do their research for days or weeks ahead of time.
And when auction night comes, it's all in front of them at the click of a button. So the auction has just now opened. All the bidders have pre-registered. Now they've logged in, and we're all just waiting for the first bid to come in, and we now have one bid, $1,000 over asking, and now everybody else has to just wait and see how they'll react, what happens to the price going from here. And unlike Australia, none of the bidders can actually see who the others are. Why can't you just say, yeah, sure, you want to sell your house that way and these people want to buy it that way, we're going to help facilitate it and we'll take our cut and everybody can be happy.
The consumer gets to decide if they want to sell it with or without representation.
Bottom line, if you want transparent bidding, you'll have to choose to do it without a traditional realtor. But when you break it down, the choice may not be so clear. In Ontario alone, there are more than 80,000 real estate agents who only sell via blind bidding, but only a couple of auction houses focused on real estate. For Hyder, the answer is simple.
I think the best thing is to go back to the provincial regulators and say, is your current practice guaranteeing fairness, protecting the rights of sellers and buyers alike? If it's not, then let's build transparency and trust, because that's what the industry relies on.
And as always, it relies on bringing buyers and sellers together, whether in a heated bidding war or not. Okay, so the clock's run out, but we only had that one bid come in. So now everything defaults to a more traditional sale between the buyer and the homeowner. So even with a more transparent process, the house sold, buyer and seller are happy, and at the end of the day, Daniel still got to hang one of these. Peter Armstrong, CBC News, Toronto.